some service berries.
Well, because first, I don't even trust really that that's what those are.
Butterfly on the milkweed.
We have some actual honeybees here. Or maybe ground bees, I don't really know. There was 3 of them, but then one of them landed. Now it's showing off. I don't want to get closer, it'll spook it. Alright, now that I got the shot, I'll try to get closer. Okay, I'm glad I did. Because now I have a second shot. Wow. I like how it's got like a little bit of like a gray fade to the front of, oh. Oh, well, you can rewind it. I gotta go fill the bird bath up. It is the 29th day of June, 2023. We're at Albany's Rural Cemetery. I'm waiting for my friend to join. Probably won't film much today. You can see the sky is really gray, and I think that that's just because the sky is gray today. But it's also, I'm not sure if you can see it from this angle, but like you see how it looks like the ISO is up a little too high? Let me turn it down. You see how it's still a little hazy up there? It's actually smoke. Like, it's not a focusing issue. It's the wildfire in Canada's back. You know, even after all that rain, I don't know if it rained in Canada, but my understanding is that it's a smoky day, and you can kind of see the haze just about everywhere. So I'm outside because personally I don't care. I'm not taking it that seriously. I didn't the first time and I was fine. So like maybe I'll get mesothelioma, but like I'm chilling. It's really peaceful here. I'm the only one here as far as I can tell. I really enjoy that being the case. BI, thanks for joining NSA Daddy. Glad you could be here to see nature die with us. Welcome back to Rainbows and Razor Blades, a show from the void. By the Gregorian calendar, it is currently the 29th day in the 6th month, the month of June in the year of the Lord, 2023. By the revolutionary calendar, it is currently the 9th day in the month of Mesidor, the month of harvest. This is Achillea millefolium, the white yarrow, and it's blooming here today, live, with this butterfly at Albany's Rural Cemetery in Menands, New York. I have my friend here. I have no idea if you want to be in my vlog, but you're welcome to be. And you're also welcome to remain an anonymous space ghost. Yeah. Whoa, look at them go. That's usually the better preference, because like I say some like really whacked out things. I try to edit most people out of the psychotic episodes that I go off on. Have I ever given you my disclaimer?
What's that?
Warning, the following program is recorded live and is not intended for children.
I've seen that.
You've seen that one?
Yeah, I've seen it in the video.
Oh yeah, you've seen my videos?
Yeah, no, I'll be anonymous so then I can tell the cops I wasn't here if I have to.
You're pretty identifiable, and the cops don't care about you. Because I'm not implicating you in any crimes. We're definitely law-abiding citizens. Wait, we actually are law-abiding citizens. Weed's legal. That's the only law that like I always ever feel like I'm like carrying drugs. But we're actually not. It's 2023. Yeah. Right here, we've been talking about the craziest shit. I wish I had been recording, but I had not been. This one is called Deptford Pink. Oh wait, is it Deptford? I always mix this up. You'll see it at the bottom. It's either a D or a T. Deptford Pink. I love this flower. It is one of my favorites because it is doing what the generation below mine is doing with the makeup in order to be sexually attractive. And it isn't necessarily attractive to males thing that it's trying to do. It's kind of like almost like a non-binary thing. Like it's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Look how ooh this flower is. If you don't think that this is a kawaii flower, you're absolutely incorrect. It is a very cute flower. Yeah, this one is
the millions who go with that quality climbable tree.
Thymus serpillum, I think is how it's pronounced, is creeping thyme. And this is basically full bloom. After this, it'll go to seed. The seed is the most powerful part of like the potent, like you put this on your food, but you don't put the seeds on your food, you put the leaves because it's just easier to harvest that way. This one right here is chickweed, I think. Pretty darn certain that that's chickweed. That may be wrong, but I think that's chickweed. This one here is black medic. And then I'm pretty sick of filming plants, so we'll be right back after this. There's 2 of them. One of them's on the ground. And the other one is up on the thistle. I think this one's either creeping thistle or I think it's called or bull thistle. But I think this one's creeping thistle. That could be wrong though. It's not sow thistle. Sow thistle. Daisies and shit. More time. Yeah.
And they're like right next door to this big military tower.
Yeah.
Like they're never not gonna just do what we want.
Yeah, and like enough of them could stop us from invading them, but I don't think that the land is close enough. I think it's much more likely that the southern divide, if it comes to war,
Yeah.
like they're gonna try to maybe invade us, but maybe mostly we'll try to invade them because we're gonna try to like desegregate them. We did it the first time.
Yeah.
We got to go back and sweep out was left.
Want that,
Well, it's like the question becomes like, why did we do it the first time? What were we fighting over? And the answer was race and race equity and abolition of slavery more particularly. It was also the equity of race, but that was like a background static to just, we can't have slaves anymore. It's like, it's not okay. And it wasn't even just about the plantation slaves. It was like really just any form of slavery. Like there was a lot of objection to. It also had to do with the fact that labor and what labor was about to become was about to change, and then the Industrial Revolution happened. And so, yeah, it really just like things were changing so rapidly back then.
Yeah.
That it basically became untenable to keep those people in power without ousting their aristocratic wealth by military force if necessary. And it came down to that. And obviously they lost. I mean, there was no chance in hell they could have ever won. Really, I mean, that really is the reality of it. And had they won, people like me probably would exist, but they would exist, but not around here, or not around there. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, what are we arguing about today? Like the gender desegregation stuff and the non-binary stuff. Like, what are we talking about with that?
That's a deliberate distraction. I mean, that's focus tested. Like, literally, Republicans have nothing to offer people.
Oh no, I think it's much more sinister. I think it's actually the issue, and I think that they had. I don't think it's so inflammatory because it's like focus. I mean, it is focus tested certainly, and the talking points on their side are certainly focus tested because it's bogus.
It's just like
it's bogus.
There's a base of hogs who are just ready to get activated about anything.
You're definitely correct.
They're willing to do it about immigrants in 2016. They're willing to do it about Muslims for like 20 years.
Well, they're fascist. I mean, the fascists are
something to like just hold it in front of their face for a while and they'll get ready to shoot them. Like, there are so many Americans who just dream of legal kills. Like, oh, if someone comes into my house, like Americans want a legal kill so bad. So.
I think a lot of us are also hardcore communists, and we just haven't been able to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I think a lot of want to like provoke it a little bit, you know. Like,
I want to kick the fucking bear as hard as I can with my boots on.
You're like, I don't want to go out and test it. I don't want to be a party to violence and stuff. But I can tell they were part of you. Like,
absolutely, in all of us.
As possible.
If I could puppet a corpse, right? And I could bring someone with no morals back and send them to war to my bidding, make no mistake, I would go against the system in a heartbeat, supervillain style. But I'd rather write about that in cyborg fiction than get myself actually like in jail with like rapists and stuff.
Are you gonna superhero overhaul everything, one person?
I am not a terrorist revolutionary. I like writing fiction about them because it is uwu. It makes for good sexual dynamics. It makes for like really good non-binary queer narratives to have a taboo because of the traditional values inherent in right-wing structures of hierarchy hierarchy being one of the main tenets of right-wing thinking. So even if you're not implicitly a right-winger as a policeman, you're still working for an implicitly right-wing classist institution, and that type of power hierarchy has to be contained by some form of cohesion at some level, and usually that comes to the level of tanks, like actual literal tanks versus one person. And then at that time, whoa, I have no idea what I was talking about because I found this mushroom. Whoa, I think this might be the turkey tail. It's tough to tell. Maybe not. This could be a Asterium or something. I have no fucking idea. I forget. I'll remember later in the season after I review the material. Probably is.
My phone thinks it's turkey tail.
Yes. Well,
But
the thing is your phone may not know if it's a turkey tail or turkey tail lookalike.
Yeah, because there were two options. There was false turkey tail and turkey tail.
I think it's the false turkey tail because I'm seeing through it too much striation pattern. So I'm thinking it's a Asterium, like a crust fungus. But I have no idea. Just ridiculous of a plant. Actually, the light's better over like here. This really is a ridiculous plant. What the fuck? Fucking gold, let's go. They put a sign. This is so cool.
Yeah, nice.
This is the coolest thing. We don't have time really to actually read all of it today, so you could pause it if you really want to learn it.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just take photos and read it later.
Yeah, like we're gonna move real quick on. I'm doing my best, guys. I'll probably come back here and film it a little more coherently at a later date. Alright, thanks. We'll be back again real soon. Defense system, it was like the hive mind core of the missile defense and the just like the supercomputing needed to like track soldiers at battlefields and just like run the simulations and stuff. But now it's been converted into a civilian target so that they don't blow it up, but they can kind of keep it in action, even though like, whoa, what do you mean, officer? What do you mean, government? We're not using this as like a warfare tool. This is a nightclub. Look at all these hot bitches. Come on, you think hot bitches would show up? It's not a real nightclub. Shut up. And so they don't bomb it. And so, but then they do. The Koi Fish clan, they run the money, and the way they run the money is by having just enough crypto power of their localized exchange currency, because they also have the high stakes gambling bets for the arcade games. You can bet if you want to on individuals like playing, because you can watch through the spyglass, like the periscope, where you can rent money through the periscope to zoom in on players to watch them in real time on games that you're betting at from home. And so that during certain hours of the day, otherwise the periscope is off. And there's also this thing, so it's like a dome-shaped building, right? Like a large dome shape that then goes into like a large square shape, but it's underground, like it's a total bunker, so the air is unmanageably bad for humans, like unmanageably bad. Upstairs, there are air vents, and they can do humans up and until 10 p.m., but after that, the humans have to leave, because it's gonna get too toxic, and they have to keep the vents shut, or they're gonna basically get shut down for their emissions. Like they push it just as far as they have to go. And the main cyborg who runs it, she caused what is called an arc event, where she should have just like had humility and admitted that she had to rebuild the machine, but instead she tried to unplug the entire thing and plug it back in, and it caused such a meltdown when she plugged it, when she like threw the switch, the big Frankenstein switch, that it melted half the building, like the joints for the things that open the vents outside. So now there's even less vents, so the humans are like suffocating even more, and she's like, fuck, like we can't fix that. And like, so there's two security lines, one to get into the otaku bar, one to get into the like the nightclub area, and then a third for just people who are in the betting gallery, which is like low-key what most people do, especially the gangster kids, the locals, is they'll go through that line because it's always expedited, and then they'll just like sneak down into the like arcade. No one gives a shit. Like the infraction bot is not gonna do that. It's not gonna come over and bonk you for it. The infraction bot is this like, so during a labor dispute, during World War III, there was a lot of refugees that got displaced, and so they need jobs. So the jobs are driving trucks and driving cars, but they want to put that out of business. So they want to have driverless cars and make their system automated. It's much better that way, and it is much better. So they wrote the word automatons are banned into the law. It's called the anti-automaton law. So then what they did at the very last second before the bill passed is they put the word "or" to be replaced by simulacrum, rather than, because it follows the term to be replaced by a human or cyborg person, like who is to receive the paycheck. Like, so if someone gets hurt on the job basically and dies, literally dies, then they can replace with a non-human driver for the interim period before a human driver is found. So then they sabotage the way that they were recruiting, and they stop recruiting humans. So, oh, we can't get enough drivers. We have to use the simulacrums. And so now all of these tin can fucking torso, they're like the torso of a human. But it's not a real human. It's just this a simulacrum of a human with a coffee can and a goofy little uniform that's sewn onto it and an arm that's spring-loaded that like goes in your way and makes you pay your bus fare. And it allegedly drives the bus back and forth like this, but it's total nonsense. And it just does this, and then it's a sit down, and it like points to the seat. Please buckle up. And it like continues to drive, but it's not real. It's like not a real person. So people like punch them in the head, stab them, cut them, like deface them, sew patches onto them. Every single one of them is a little different, and they all have like different automated voices. And then like there's one unified voice if you like really fuck up that it'll like flash red and black, where it's like you're under arrest. And at that point, like everyone's got to be like, oh, because then like you know the men have to come on, the whole thing gets stopped. You're basically under arrest. They drag you away. And so the infraction bot is one of those that is on a spider-like crawling like giant claw grabber game, but it's above you, and then it goes down and it bonks you on the head. It says infraction. And then it tells you what your infraction is, and it prints off like a receipt what it is, and you have to like go on the little screen and type in like basically like your explanation and apology, or like your ban appeal basically, like, and then it gives you your punishment when you have to hand in your tickets. And it can penalize you in many different ways. It penalizes you in points if it's set to jackass mode, which basically means you could be a jackass, and it's kind of like teenagers are goofing off, making each other get in trouble, like, oh, I pantsed you, oh, that's an infraction. Then there's like an actual infraction, which is like you can get a game loss. You can get like bets can be halted. They use that one abusively, and a couple of other ones. But then after that, it becomes like a physical security problem where it's like not a joke anymore. And then like actual security has to step in, and like unfortunately the nightclub security is the same security gangsters. So like the otaku kids, who are like these very soft little boys, mostly these gamers, also have to deal with these like militant, violent war veteran cyborgs who are like in their mid-50s but are just as competitive at video games as they are. Oh my god, it's hot out. We should go to the trail. Whew, wow. Thanks for listening to my nonsense, by the way.
I don't
They're all gone. What the hell? That's so weird. Maybe they saw you and flitted away.
I think so.
There's one. Little damselflies. Yo, this bridge is lit. They did so many good things this year.
This is new, huh?
Oh yeah, everything's new. Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff getting planned for this place, I think. But it does get from point A to point B. It just has to be like fully fleshed and written. But those ideas are like, they're around. Yeah. This is a bellflower. Creeping bellflower. What a great plant. Who is this by?
He took his arm and kissed his lips. He looked at me with such a smile on my face turned. Jet boy, jet girl, gonna take you around the world.